Uh, Good evening, one and all. In the connection of the webinar series, today we have the webinar on PU webinar platform. The topic is the escalating food security in Gujarat. And today we have the stalwarts and chief guest speakers with us, Dr. Surinder Singh, who is the assistant professor in BBA University, Lucknow. So we welcome you, sir, on behalf of the Parel University, on behalf of the Parel University management, on behalf of the Parel University president, sir, vice chancellor, and registrar, sir. Now I over to you, our assistant professor, Dr. Sonali Naran. Give the introduction of our esteemed guest. Please, madam.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Surinder Singh is currently working as an assistant professor at BBA University, Lucknow. He teaches agricultural economics and statistics to master students. His research interest is in climate change and agriculture, food security, livelihood security, climate vulnerability, and climate resilience. He has published more than 30 papers in highly cited and international acknowledged journals. He also has tremendous analytical skills to handle large-scale data sets, including NSSO, NFHS, and population census. And he is a master to operate statistical software like Stata and SPSS. And he also been awarded Rajiv Gandhi National Fellowship for he got this award for PhD during 2013 to 2000 till 2017. So now I would like to introduce a topic briefly that food security has been a major concern in India. And according to UN India, there are nearly 195 million undernutrition people in India, and which is a quarter of the world's hunger burden. And also, roughly 43% of the children in India are chronically undernourished. So I now hand over to uh, Surinder Singh for this webinar. I would like him to start his topic on food security. Thank you.
I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. You can start your presentation.
Yes, Dr. Surinder, you can start, please.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Network problem.
Okay, no issue, sir. No issue. Please.
I'm, I'm audible.
We can
Okay.
hear you, sir. We can hear you.
India has 2.1% arable land and 70% livestock. Okay. And 4%, 4.2% only water resources, and 17.6% of global population. So there is an inequality in access of resources, including land, livestock, and water resources. It is bound to feed a second largest populated country. India aimed to achieve self-sufficiency in food production since 1970. Its food production in everyone. Despite that, it is a more home for the largest number of food insecure people that count 325 million malnutrition people with an approximate 48% malnutrition child under age 5. The data was collected from National Family Health Survey. Every night, nearly 320 million Indians have slept without food every night. So this is the situation. More than one-third population is estimated to be absolutely poor, and many more suffering from chronic disease. Now pandemic is more vibrant and revealing the health structure and food security issue. Income and food poverty, distributional difficulties, income inequality, food price inflation like onion and tomato, regional disparity, and insufficient government mechanism are main reason for food insecurity in India. Therefore, there is a growing concern among the researchers and policymakers that how to feed food demand and sustain livelihoods of the continually increasing population, where we have constant natural resources and rapidly degrading because we are over exploiting natural resources from the regeneration rate. How to use natural resources efficiently to make Indian agriculture sustainable. So food security must be examined through holistic means to identifying the multidimensional process that intersect with economic, social relations, health, political structure, and environment, which operate over different spatial and temporal scales. Strengthening food security and improving human development is a cohesive process. So this study basically we have three objectives. First, evaluate the food security status of districts associated with the state of Gujarat to evaluate degree of food security using quintile method, and to identify the critical indicator responsible for lower food security in the districts of pertaining Gujarat. The state of Gujarat lie on the western coast of India. The length of Gujarat from north to south is approximately 590 km, and width from east to west is approximately 500 km. The state is spread across an area of 196024 square kilometer, about 6% of total geographical area of India, and it has a long coastal line, 1663 kilometer among Indian states. The state is also bounded with the Arabian Sea on the west and southwest, Rajasthan in the north and northeast, and Maharashtra in the south and southwest, and Madhya Pradesh in the east. The state has an international boundary with Pakistan and north in the northwest. Ahmedabad is situated on the Arabian Sea. So in Gujarat, we have three rivers, Narmada, Tapi, and Mahi, are located in South Gujarat. The state fall in subtropical climatic zone, experience subhumid climate in southern Gujarat, south of river Narmada. Moderately humid climate in central Gujarat between Narmada and Sabarmati rivers, and a humid salutary climate in the coastal region south facing coastal region is Saurashtra. Dry climate regions of central Gujarat, north of Ahmedabad, and part of Saurashtra, and arid and semi-arid climate in north Gujarat and Kutch. So, as far as the agroclimatic conditions are concerned, we have humid, dry, arid, and semi-arid climatic conditions. So we have heterogeneity in the agroclimate, basically climatic conditions, which also affect the agriculture as well as the other food security indicators. So we have Gujarat has a population of 60.38 million as per the agriculture census 2011, showing a decadal growth rate of 19.17%. So in the decade during 2001-2011, about 19.17% of population increase as compared to all India growth rate, which is lower compared to Gujarat, that is 17.64%. Gender ratio is 918 females over 1000 males. Literacy rate is quite not good as much as, but it sufficient. So 17.931%. Doha district has recorded a lower literacy rate, that is 45.15%. That is the tribal districts of Gujarat. While Ahmedabad has recorded the highest literacy rate, 86.65%. So as far as food security is concerned, there are 4 dimensions, but I have taken only 3 dimensions. The utilization, food utilization indicator at district level data in India are not available. Only National Family Health Survey, they have collected data, but that data are also not representative for differential analysis. So I have excluded that part and cover only 3 component of food security, that is food availability, food accessibility, and food stability. So as far as food availability indicators are concerned, so I have taken these number of indicators like number of livestock per 1000 population, per capita availability of food grains, per capita availability of oilseed, vegetables, spices, fruits, and per capita consumption expenditure and agriculture labor. These are some indicators I have taken after review of various reputed or mostly cited studies. I find that these are the some basically rational or highly associated indicator representing the food availability of any area, any districts, any community lying in India. So food accessibility, I have taken some indicators like literacy rate. They are having the higher literacy. They can access food easily. Road length, it's provide the marketing to the farmers or provide to the appropriate institutional structure to farm and non-farm community. Cash reserve ratio, how much they are having in their hand. Urbanization, population density, gender ratio, population decadal growth rate, safe drinking water, that is also main component part of food security, access of electricity, secure housing conditions, household having all seasonal houses, number of fair price of how much they are accessing food from fair price sources through PDS system. Similarly, food security. So I have taken a yield of food grains, yield of oil seed, yield of spices, vegetables, fertilizer consumption, storage capacity, cropping intensity, percentage of gross irrigated area to gross sown area, and forest area. If these are indicators are balancing, then we can say there is a higher degree of food stability in any districts or any community or any agroclimatic zones. So that data was computed using this INR methodology. INR Sudarshan methodology was adopted to estimate the indices from the constructed multivariate database. Because we have taken data from differential units, so there is a need to normalize first data to examine or the status of food security of any districts pertaining in Gujarat state. So indicator expressed in different unit was normalized to the scale of 0 to 1. 0 means lower food security, 1 means higher food security. So equation was employed, 1 was employed to positive indicators, and equation 2 was used to negatively associate with the component like food stability, food accessibility, food availability. So xi is the original value, or we can say actual value. Xij is representing the original value of indicator of district, I indicator, J for districts, and minimum is a minimum value divided by maximum and minimum value in the series. So suppose we have 26 districts I have taken from Gujarat. So actual value, that is the actual value, and minimum value within the 26 districts, whatever I have having the minimum value, that value I have taken, and maximum value also taken in the series. So positive relations, if the indicator having a positive relationship with the targeted index, like say food availability, so first equation was employed. If the targeted indicator index having negative value, second equation 2 was employed. So where the Zij is the value in variable index value, and because of we are using differential data, so weight was put to make a justification of each contribution of each indicator. So weight was calculated using equation 3 and 4. Basically, weight is here is a principal component analysis kind of mechanism was adopted to give the weight to each indicator. The calculated weight was used to construct component index PI for the jth district using equation 5, where so we categorize our food security status 0 to 1. So finally, food security index for each district is calculated as a unweighted average for 3 components, then converted to the weighted. Based on the index square, district were ranked in descending order, where district with higher score indicate greater food security. Further, homogeneous districts under each component indices were categorized into 4 groups. So quartile estimation also used to categorize the districts into low food security, medium food security, high food security, and very high food security using quartile estimation. So as far as the food security indicators are concerned, I have taken livestock, per capita availability of food, food grains, oil seed, vegetables, spices, agricultural labor, fruits, and consumption expenditure. So red one showing the lowest food availability index score, and green showing the highest food availability index score. So as far as livestock is concerned, Mehsana district showing they having the lower availability of livestock, while Jamnagar having the higher availability of livestock. As far as food grains availability is concerned, Kheda district having a higher availability of food grains, while Bharuch having lower availability of food. Oil seed, Kutch is having the lowest availability of oil seed, per capita availability of oil seed, while Rajkot having the highest. Vegetables, Ahmedabad having a lower availability, while Jamnagar having the higher availability. As far as spices are concerned, Gandhinagar having the lower availability, while Jamnagar having the higher availability. Similarly, agricultural labor, Rajkot showing the lower availability of agricultural labor, while Valsad having the highest availability of labors. Per capita availability of foods, Tapi having the lowest and Rajkot having highest. As far as the consumption expenditure is concerned, Ahmedabad having the highest and Kutch having the lowest. So when we club the data and developed a food availability index, we find that there is a lower availability of food grains and livestock and agricultural labor fruits in Ahmedabad, Kutch, Mehsana, Porbandar, Sabarkantha, Tapi, and Narmada. As far as higher availability of force indicators like Surendranagar, Panchmahal, Navsari, Jamnagar, Bharuch, they are having the highest availability index score. As far as food accessibility index is concerned, so I have taken literacy rate, road length, cash reserve ratio, urbanization rate, how much percentage of urban population, population density, gender ratio, growth of population, safe drinking water. So it's providing the multi-dimensional situation of the district of Gujarat state. So literacy, as far as the literacy, we find that because we have incorporated data into index score, so the data also converted. So as far as our estimation, it's showing the Valsad lowest and Kutch showing the highest. So there's some constraint in this estimation, because if we use the weightage, that weight will distribute according to the intensity of data. So that may be some variation in data. So as far as road length, Amreli having the lowest score and Sabarkantha having the highest score. Cash reserve ratio, Surat having the lowest and Panchmahal having the highest. Urbanization intensity, Vadodara having the highest and Anand having the lowest. Population density, Surat having the highest and Bhavnagar having the lowest. Gender ratio, Patan having the highest and Bharuch having the lowest. So if we look the safe drinking water, secured housing, and access of electricity, these are the key indicators for accessibility of resources. So the safe drinking water, as far as the safe drinking water indicator is concerned, Patan district having the lowest index score, while Sabarkantha having the highest. Similarly, secured housing, Surat having the lowest and Tapi having the highest, because we have to look the urbanization issue. Then we in any districts having the highest population living in urban area, they might be having a lower accessibility of secure housing. As far as the access of electricity is concerned, the Dungs having the highest and Junagadh having the lowest, and fair price of Junagadh having the highest and Mehsana having the lowest. So as far as the food accessibility indicators, or we can say index, is concerned, Amreli, Kheda, Patan and Rajkot, Vadodara, Valsad and Bharuch, they are having the lowest accessibility of aforesaid indicators, food accessibility, and highest Kutch, Mehsana, Sabarkantha, Tapi and Gandhinagar, they are having the highest food accessibility. As far as the food stability index is concerned, so we have taken yield of food grains, oil seed, spices, vegetables, storage capacity, how much they are having the storage capacity, and cropping intensity also make the food stability in any districts. So if we look the food stability index, we find that Ahmedabad, Vaishana, Porbandar, Sabarkantha, Narmada, Bharuch, and Surendranagar, these are having the lowest food stability, because they somehow having the urban population highest compared to some other districts like Dangs, Amreli, Dahod and Kheda. So interestingly, Gandhinagar having the highest food stability, and Gandhinagar and Surat. So when we compute food security index, then we can compare the situation, and we find that Porbandar, Junagadh, Patan, Rajkot, Vadodara, Bharuch, they are having the lowest food security status, while Ahmedabad, Mehsana, Narmada, Kheda, Navsari, Surendranagar, they are having the medium food security status, and Tapi, Gandhinagar, Surat, Dangs, Amreli having the highest food security status, and remaining districts pertain in the high food security status. So thereafter, I have used specimen rank correlation how to validate the index. So the data also showing the as per according to the hypothesis that all the indicator food availability, accessibility, and stability are positively associated with the food security. That means if we increase the food availability, food accessibility, and food stability, then we get the highest food security. So it is important to validate a constructed indicator. I have validated using the Spearman rank correlation. It can be preferred as a good. It is significantly correlated with the associate indices. Spearman rank correlation coefficient reveal that food security index is positively associated with the food availability, food stability, and food accessibility indexes. This also interpreted that food security depend on food availability, food stability, and food accessibility, thus significant associated with the components. Food availability is positively associated with the food stability. It infers that food stability improves as food production increases. Further, food stability is also positively associated with the food availability. So the study made an attempt to evaluate the status of food security in districts associated with the state of Gujarat. It created a district-wide food security index uses a composite Z index approach. Food security index is most powerful tool to assess the situation of food security of a region, a nation. Food security depend upon the three component: availability, accessibility, and stability. It indicates that all components of food security are useful to maintain sustainable food security. Estimated results show that there exists a significant food inequality across districts due to variation in socioeconomic or whatever the indicator we have taken. So, so as far as the policy implications are concerned, so policymaker essential to increase food productivity through cropping intensity, more irrigation, because if we make the less inequality in the access of food, food accessibility or food availability, then we have to increase the crop production through cropping intensity, more irrigation facility, and biofertilizer application of modern technology, high yielding variety of seed in cultivation. Creation of more job employment opportunity in non-farm would be critical to improve accessibility, power of people to acquire food. Food security would be sustainable and increase government expenditure in agriculture and rural development, public spending in agriculture and rural development, research and development, development of infrastructure and food grain storage, and credit flow in the market. Rapid urbanization decreased arable land, subsequently total food production. Thus, it brought a serious threat to food security and acute hunger crisis in developing country and developing or highly growing states like Gujarat. Agriculture required large quantity of water, which would adversely affect the water availability in future. That we are recently seeing that most of the districts of we can say blocks are in dark zones of highest growing urban population of districts in Gujarat. Therefore, it strongly suggested that water conservation, that was rainwater harvesting, watershed management scheme, and formation of artificial water recharge techniques need to apply to complete the irrigation requirement. I am audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. High income inequality increase black marketing outside the market, which also increase food prices. So government of India is required to adopt a effective mechanism to reduce black marketing in order to control food price inflation, as we have recently seen in onion cases and tomato cases and pulses cases too, that there is a sudden increase in prices, or we can say increased food inflation, while there is basically we can say there is no crisis of production. We having the surplus production while we are facing the food fluctuation, high vegetable fluctuation, pulses fluctuation of prices. So government should adopt an effective mechanism to reduce the black marketing. So that's all my side. If you have any question,
So, thank you for a good presentation. It has enlightened us. So, I have a question that what are the challenges of food security in India?
okay, there are so many challenges. As I have also taken some ecological indicators and some socioeconomic indicators and some agro indicator also. So in one side there is a continuous increase in population, so that need to a food. It's increasing the food demand. So we have to feed the. We have to increase our food production, and we have to sustainably increase the food production. So what we are seeing in our agriculture production scenario, we having the surplus production of major cereals like rice and wheat, while we are importing oil seed and pulses from the neighboring countries. So there is a inequality in the production, our agriculture production mechanism. So we have to make diversification, as recently farm law also moving towards in this direction, that we have to diversify our cropping pattern. That will help in reducing the dependence of oilseed pulses for neighboring countries. That also help in the balancing of our balance of trade, international trade, or we can say. So that will help. To first we have to diversify, then we have to seriously look into the urbanization issue. So what will we are seeing in those who are migrating in our urban areas, because urbanization is continuously increasing over the years. So you have to identify who is migrating from rural to urban, whether it is cultivators or agriculture labor. Most in the cases they are agriculture laborers, because agriculture there is a surplus agriculture labor or labor. So the agricultural labor is migrating because they don't having the agricultural land. So how we can make a smart city, or we can say sustainable city, because continuously rural to urban migration making difficulty to the urban planners, how they can make sufficient resources to feed the demand of ever growing urban population. Similarly, those who are migrating to urban area, they also need housing, safe drinking water, accessibility of other resources. So how a urban planner, how they plan to make a accessibility of resources also a important issue. In this direction, I would say rural employment generation program be having the IMG Narega. Similarly, we need urban employment guarantee program in urban areas like Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad, Surat, Vadodara, in which we provide the insured employment to the migrated population. Whatever we are having, but we have to provide ensure at least 100 days employment, so we can reduce the poverty, particularly urban poverty. And as far as the safe drinking water, access of electricity, and housing, these are some uh, critical indicators, we can say critical components. So we have to address these issues. Similarly, how we can increase the agriculture production to make a food stability kind of scenario. So we have to adopt the diversification in the framework of sustainable farming. So we move to our resources in favor of organic farming, that have provide highest prices, or to move the organic farming particularly to in favor of cash crop, that not only increase the uh, rural farm income, but also make some or we can provide the exposure for international trade, for international food markets. So in India, we having only 1.63% of global trade share. while in 2001, while in 1991 it was 0.6% share. So we are not a you can say front runners country in the world, which are exporting agriculture products to the international markets. So if we produce high quality farm products, particularly cash crops, fruits, vegetable, then we also increase the uh, agricultural share in the international trade of India in global market. And similarly, we cannot ignore the climatic conditions. So it's out of control now. In Gujarat, we are seeing that farmers, they have overexploited natural resources, particularly groundwater, without having the any common pool resources mechanism, any law. Now Gujarat government have adopted some mechanism that you cannot dig any bore well without taking the proper permission to the local authorities. While earlier there is no such mechanism, so they have extracted or we can say over-extracted groundwater that now facing most of the districts of Gujarat facing the acute water crisis in of rainy seasons. So these are some issue as far as the literacy or we can say socioeconomic indicators are concerned. Literacy definitely having the important role, but whether we have to identify whether we are looking to urban overall literacy or we are looking to rural literacy. Because if you are having half of the population in rural area, so you have to do something in to increase the rural literacy. Because if you are increase the rural literacy and provide the regional employment opportunity to the rural population, that somehow reduce the intensity of rural urban migration and help both of the economy, urban economy and rural economy. Rural economy, they because if opportunity are there, they increase the infrastructure as well as they reduce the burden of urban planners, because we are seeing that continuously in urban areas slum population increasing. We can say unsettled that slum population creating so many issues. Like we are seeing that in Maharashtra, that Asia largest slums, so spread of COVID kind of situation. So because we don't having that mechanism to identify the health issues in highly densely areas where there is no access of basic amenities including safe drinking water, sanitation, lighting, all seasonal approach roads. So that will also we have to look if we are looking to food security issue. So food security issue security is a part of sustainable livelihood security. So if we as our population, about half of the population is living in rural area, particularly working in agriculture sector. So we have to address these issues. That if we sustainably address these issues, definitely we also able to address the urban issues or any health issues that we are recently seeing, that how much COVID is spreading. Because earlier COVID was limited in limited pockets of India, but when reverse migration occurs last year and recently also we have seen that also spreading. So if we address the rural issues, rural development issues, then we definitely address the food security and livelihood security. So
But India creates largest wastage in terms of food. India creates so much of wastage. So is there any program under which India is going to manage their waste in order to handle this problem of food security?
okay, definitely India is working. Indore, one of in Madhya Pradesh, having the best example of food waste management, or we can say particularly waste management. So ministry have working on this direction, that how to control or control the food waste management, how to sustainability manage the waste. So in this direction, like vegetable and food, fruits particularly, because they are highly sensitive crops. So cold storage, they like farm producer organization, they are 10,000 farm producer organization are working all over the India. They providing the cold storage facility and storage capacity, so that definitely not only reduce the prices of vegetable foods, but also reduce the intensity of food waste. So the government is working in this direction, as well as in COVID situation we have seen that there is no interstate transportation of food products, so the prices is lower, and price is lower, as well as the quality of food also much higher. And similarly there is lower intensity of food waste, particularly this last year we have seen, because in urban area because we don't having the storage cold storage capacity, whatever we are transporting in trucks on any trains. So about 10 to 15% food wasted during the transportation of one state to other state. So that will be control if we provide such cold storage facility. And to distribute that, keep in mind that the domestic demand as well as the interstate demand. So if we address the domestic demand firstly, then there will be lower prices of vegetable and foods, and it helps to reduce the inequality, or we can say volatility in the prices, because we are seeing that suddenly prices increase or decline, like in case of onion and potato, or even tomato also. So that will help to reduce the waste, particularly agri waste.
Okay, is there any other city which could be an example of food waste management strategy, or apart from Indore?
Chandigarh also doing very well.
Okay,
Chandigarh also doing very well. However, they are not producing as much as agri food, but they are sustainably managing their waste, and that waste converted into the biofertilizer, and they are making differential products that also increasing the farm income of those who are converting. So in case of recycle, particularly to agriculture waste management, Chandigarh also doing very well.
okay. So, what do you say that how can we improve food security in India?
In overall, we can say we have to work in for all four dimensions of food security: food accessibility, availability, stability, and food utilization. So that the data was not available, so I skipped the food utilization part. Food utilization, how we are utilizing the food, that is also important component. So if we are at because we having a surplus production, surplus availability of food grains, while we are having simultaneously having the malnutrition children. India having the highest milk producer, while we don't providing the milk to the children age below 14, or we can say 5. So that distribution will be taken in consideration, that how we can basically reduce the prices, uh, so that accessibility, or because we having the availability, but how we increase the accessibility also important, because if the price is higher, then those who are living bottom of the society, they cannot easily buy if price is higher. So we have to make such mechanism that those who are living at bottom of the society, they can access these fruit, vegetables, and milk products. So that mechanism also needed. We can if we connect with the PDS system somehow, that will help But in PDS system, they provide food items in a once in a month. But vegetable and milk and fruit case, we don't having such mechanism. So if twice a week, or we can say if we provide PDS, provide vegetable food and meals through PDS to the below poverty line population, that will also increase the nutritional as well as the food security status, and also increase the cash reserve ratio, because they are paying less. They will pay less to on their consumption expenditure. So if because how much we are wasting, suppose we are wasting 20% of food products, that wastage will diverted in favor of population living to below poverty line. That will also that will definitely help the increase in food security as well as nutritional security. So if we provide at least 10 ml per unit milk to the household, or those who are having the children below 14 and below 5, if 10 ml milk per day through PDS system, if such mechanism will develop, definitely the nutritional security definitely increase. So that will also help in the reducing the intensity of inequality, because the inequality is a serious issue in urban population. Most of the population in urban settlements, they regularly taking fruits, vegetables, and milks, while similarly in slums area and rural areas, they hardly taking fruits and vegetables and milk on a daily basis. So if we provide we divert this waste to in favor of these needy people, definitely we increase the we can say we cover the food security issue simultaneously to nutritional security issue.
Okay, do you know 500 every year nearly 5,000 children die due to inadequate food consumption in India?
Yes.
What you would like to say on that? Like, if government are planning, they have a Marega, there are many schemes, but still, why this is like happening that every year nearly 5,000 children die due to inadequate food consumption in India?
Okay. MG there are some distributional kind of mechanism failure. We can say be having uh, smart programs like MG Narega. Now they have converted. Be having onto the PDS mechanism. Be having Anganwadi mechanism. But the distributional mechanism, supply chain management is weak in India particularly. That's why the involved nutritional, or you can say nutritional insecurity is there. So if we, as I have said, that if we connect vegetable foods and milk, particularly eggs, to the PDS system and provide twice a week, definitely that this will help to the population living to below, at least below poverty line. So and we have to reduce, first we have to reduce the linkages in PDS system, then introduce these items in the PDS system, then we will address. And apart from this, those who are not connected with the food PDS system, like in urban area, most of the population living in slums, they don't having ration cards. So how can we address that population? Also a serious policy issue. So we have to enhance our coverage and target. We need a targeted policy that will target to the population, those who are really needy, and by addressing this population, then definitely we increase the intensity of, we can say, nutritional security. Then definitely we control the mortality rate of that children.
Gujarat government has a scheme for rural people. Like they sell, they are giving 1 kg of rice at rupees 2 or 3. And such kind of I would like to know such kind of schemes do we have anywhere apart from Gujarat?
Most of the in PDS mechanism they are having same kind of similar kind of systems in PDS system rice wheat. I think now they are providing to gram as well as some castor oil also. So that scheme is working all over India, uh, and that will also helping now in a COVID situation. They providing that items free of cost to the population. That scheme also working in UP, Punjab, Haryana, everywhere in working.
What do you suggest? Which is the problem? Like, which is the urgent problem which we need to address in regard of food security? Which is the urgent issue?
Urgent issue, we have to stabilize our food production. If we stabilize our food production, that will help to increase the food security, because we have the highest fluctuation in our food production system, because we are producing surplus to the food cereals, while we are importing to uh, oilseed and pulses. So we have to stabilize our production system. We Once we stabilize food production system, definitely that will help to making the more food secure population, particularly in rural areas. If we stabilize only work in the stabilization of food production, and
Yeah.
without yeah.
I would also like to know, like, foreign countries, do they send their waste food to developing countries like India or other countries? So, because they do send their waste clothes, they do send their waste electronic wastage, and they dump in African region. So, in the same way, do they send their waste food to country in India, or the way government redistribute among poor people in India?
No,
Do
food items are not basically transported, or we can say dumped to developing countries from
not
European
dump,
countries.
or maybe they can redistribute it. I mean, they may be uh, like the food items that we collect from the other developed regions. They can be reused or redistribute among the poor people. Is there any example of this?
No, because the life of any food items like vegetable foods is much lower as compared to clothes and electronic items. So transportation cost are also much higher, and there are some restrictions employed by particularly African countries and some of Asian countries too, like Philippines. Philippines recently we have seen that they are not accepting any waste coming from the European countries, because they are now aware about the ecological sensitivity. So they are not accepting. Similarly, African countries, like recently, I would say the development of vaccine of Oxford University and some Pfizer company is there. So they are willing to test their vaccine in the on the African community. So they categorically deny that we are not a dummy population. So that's why you cannot come and run your vaccine trials. So they now much aware, because they are simultaneously facing same problem. Whatever they are exporting to Arabian countries, or we can say European countries, of food items like banana and fruits, vegetables, they are facing strict food regulations, particularly in European countries. That's why they much aware that if they are doing same, then we also are. If France will give in, and we also do same thing. So that's why there is no such a mechanism. I have not seen anywhere that European countries are basically they are giving to the Asian or African countries any boost, any food waste they are transporting to the uh, Asian or African countries, while they are their electronic based or cloths, they definitely that based they are shifting to Asian and African countries. But food, in case of food, they don't. I don't think they are doing. I have not read anywhere.
Okay, thank you very much. Your talk has enlightened us, and we have learned so many things from your talk. And we learn about food availability, food accessibility, food stability, and we also get to know that insufficient government mechanism are the main reason for the food insecurity in India. So with this, I would like to thank you on the behalf of Parul Institute of Arts and our whole committee of students and faculty. We would like to thank you for the nice presentation of food security in Gujarat. So uh, I would like to Sir Ramesh Rawat sir to speak something to end this webinar.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Surendra. This is a wonderful webinar. You enlighten on the agriculture situation and the food security and the food stability, and you also explain about the analytical method, as well as you told about the comparison study of the food availability index through food availability index and the importance of the food security. But I have one question from my side. What are the differences in the Indian food security system as well as in USA, UK, and South Asia and the Gulf and other countries? So I want to know the answer of this question from my side personally.
Okay,
So
sir.
Dr. Surendra.
Okay. Basically, sir, in European countries, we are mostly looking to nutritional security, while in India, particularly, we are looking to the food security kind of mechanism. So, food security within having the two dimensions: food security as well as nutritional security. Nutritional security is a internal component of food security. So, in European country, they are categorically looking to nutrition security because their population is lower, so the availability and accessibility is much higher, and stability also higher. So they are looking the how much content, carbohydrate, proteins content is there. So they more or less mostly they are looking to nutritional security, while in India, because we have the inadequate access of food items and stability kind of mechanism, we first are aim to provide at least provide some amount of food grains, food items. That part India is looking, while in European countries they are looking the nutritional kind of mechanism.
And one more thing, say that what kind of the reforms is required in Indian food security policy? In Indian food security policy, what kind of the reform is required at present scenario?
Okay, first thing that we have to diversify our cropping pattern to stabilize food production system, because we are importing oilseed and vegetables, while we are having the surplus production of cereals and pulse, particularly major cereals. So first we have to diversify our cropping pattern that will help to the availability and capture the availability as well as the stability, food stability. So that will basically address two issues. Now, as far as the accessibility is concerned, as I have said, if we connect the vegetable, fruits, and milk, egg to the PDS system and provide twice in a week, that will address the nutritional security and accessibility of these items, because most of the population they don't having the access, because the prices is also volatile, so they don't having as much as income to buy the vegetable, fruits, milk, eggs on a regular basis. So if we connect that items with the PDS system, definitely we increase the food security. So these two bold line. As far as the other things are concerned, if we introduce urban employment poverty reduction programs, or we can say employment journey program for urban population, particularly those who are migrated rural to urban within the state. We are not interstate, we are looking, we just looking to inter districts and intra district within a state. Then we seen that most of the agriculture labor is migrating from different districts to the Barodara, Ahmedabad, and Gandhinagar. So if we provide employment generation, urban employment generation, if we ensure like a MG Nareka kind of mechanism, we developed, initiate such policy, definitely it will help to those who are migrating. So all of a sudden we are not stop the rural urban migration, but if we ensure the employment, that definitely help.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful talk and master talk on today's webinar topic, escalating food security in Gujarat. So we thank you, and thank you very much to enlighten to us, enlighten to our student, enlighten to our faculty member and participant. Those are the connected from the different part of the country. So we're thankful to you, sir, and we also invite to you another PU webinar platform. Other PU webinar platform means in another webinar. So Dr. Sonali will connect on regular basis to you, and she will invite to you on for your regular speech and talk on another topic. So again, thank you very much on behalf of the Parul University, behalf of the Parul University management, Parul University family, and behalf of the Parul University President, Sir, Vice Chancellors, and Registrar, Sir. We thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful and master talk. Thank you very much, sir. And also thank you our PU webinar team for provide the entire connectivity without any kind of the technical glitches, and they are working day night and they are conducting such kind of the wonderful webinar. We are also thankful of the faculty members. They promote the entire webinar on the various platform, and they work day night to make the success of this webinar. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.